Dr. Jessica Jamise Williams, and I'm here this week to talk to you about what can we learn from Blackness. And I thought a lot about how to start to have this conversation, right? Because there's so much we can learn about Blackness, and there's so many ways that question can be interpreted, right? We can think about what can we learn from Blackness historically? What can we learn from Blackness looking around within ourselves and within our community if you're not Black? But also, what I really wanted to touch on was what we can learn about Blackness that is exciting, mysterious, and kind of lies in potential. What is the potential for Blackness, right? And so when I think about this question, it really brings me to what are the ideas that we already have about what Blackness is and what Blackness could be, can be, right? So for me, this is a kind of a classic example. People growing up used to feel, I'm from Atlanta, if you didn't know, but people growing up would often feel, or would often say, Black people don't swim, Black people can't swim. And my sister, my younger sister is an amazing swimmer, went to state for swimming. I swam and did diving and would actually like volunteer and teach up at the pool. I've taught multiple people how to swim. And so it's just this funny thing about kind of addressing what is Black and what is not. And maybe, you know, I wanna say a common backhanded compliment that I would often get growing up was, oh, you're not really Black, because I didn't fit the stereotype of what people believed Black to be, right? So it could have been because I spoke a certain way. It could have been because when I was younger, I was a lot better at Spanish than I am now. So like being even a little bit bilingual, right? As a Black kid, right? Again, knowing how to swim, certain little things that you do, and people would take that and say, oh, you're not really Black. You're not really Black. But what does that do? What does that say? And what does that mean, right? And so when you have questions like this, or you have comments like this that come up this is something that, you know, as an identity researcher, has came up over and over again. Nearly every Black person that I've ever talked to in terms of conversations around identity has had a similar experience where their Blackness was denied because of some exception, right, that they held. And the thing that I think we have to remember about these exceptions, right, this kind of magical thinking about this Black person that they're sitting across from, that you want to say, well, you're not really Black because you do the following thing that I never knew Black people could do. Instead of that, thinking about, wow, I learned something about Blackness, because if this one person can do it, I bet there's 10,000 other more that can as well, right? And I think that it's such a beautiful thing to think of it that way, instead of feeling like you're the only one. Maybe you're just the only one that we know about, right? But I always feel deeply that Maya Angelou quote, I come as one in 1,000, that my ancestors are always with me, and that I also carry the possibility of all that Blackness could be. And so when I think about, you know, the limitations that are often put on Blackness, I want to believe that within my people, within my community, there exist possibilities for all things. And that's exciting to me. And so there's not a thing to me that Black people can't do. There might be a thing that I can't do. And I will accept defeat, but I will never accept defeat on behalf of my Blackness, right? It's not because I'm Black I can't do this thing. Blackness never makes me deficient. And I think that's a really, really important thing for Black people to remember, is that we are never deficient because of. And what is there to learn about Blackness? I think surprising yourself with the ways that Blackness not only shows up in possibility, but the way that Blackness interacts with intersection, right? Another classic kind of example of something that exists within the Black community is that Black people don't go to therapy. We will talk to God, we will talk at the kitchen table, and you kind of hear about so-and-so was going through. But what does that actually mean? And for me, I am a Black person who is diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety disorder, panic disorder. And this morning, I had a full meltdown. Screaming, crying, could not get up off the floor, had to medicate myself, meltdown. And after I did the things that I know to do, because I go to therapy, I've gone to therapy, I take my mental health and my health and wellness very seriously, I revisited this question again. What is there to learn about Blackness? And I thought, if I were to believe that Blackness was truly limited by the idea that we don't seek help, where would I be right now? And I was so grateful in that moment that I believed in the possibility of Blackness and the possibility that Blackness could intersect with anxiety disorder, with panic disorder, with mental health struggles in a way that would be embodied in me, and that I would be okay with it, right? And I could accept it on behalf of my humanity. That is what I think I can learn continuously in my Blackness, is that it is but a facet and but a shade of humanity. I cannot wait to have this particular conversation in more depth with you all this Thursday. In the meantime, I really want you to think, what is there to be learned about Blackness? Where can Blackness surprise you? Where has Blackness surprised you? And what possibilities are there that exist within Blackness that you are most looking forward to being made manifest? How can you help make those possibilities manifest? Those are the questions, and we'll talk about it on Thursday.